And peace.
Yes, indeedy.
Welcome
Greetings.
in, everyone.
I thought I was being expelled
Why?
because I came on and then it kicked me back out. And it said,
Oh,
oh, for the next you wasn't ready. I said, uh-oh, maybe I'm on
well,
suspension.
that's because everybody was lining up so fast. I was trying to let in admin, and sometimes it gets pushed down or up or whichever direction it goes. So it's like, oh,
I figured something like that, but I said, let me just see if I'm expelled first.
yes, because to leave being here talking that nonsense, and we got to teach him a lesson, block him for a few weeks.
I already been missing Thursday and Friday for the last few weeks. I've been working, but I got to go on and find the recordings. Where the recordings are in the class, the Thursday class and the Friday class, the
Sonny,
recordings
do you have
class.
the answer to that
They
question?
are posted on YouTube. The link to the playlist for both are posted in the groups on Lawful Living.
Okay, okay, all right.
So the
Thank.
links to the private YouTube for Thursdays and Fridays is posted inside of the group on lawfulliving.com.
Got it.
All right. Okay, everybody's recording. Good day and welcome everyone to today's live. Today is Tuesday, the alleged third day of the fake year 2026 month of March. And as usual, we are gathered here today on Tuesday for our Newbie Tuesday session where we answer you guys' most burning newbie questions in your law studies. What's always interesting about this particular class, or this particular session, I should say, is that most people don't realize what it is to be a newbie. Most of us think that being a newbie means that you're not really studied in law. And it seems that it depends what you studied, especially first. And that's because most newbies seem to come into this law education space learning mythology. What do you guys know about that?
Not the Patronut mythology.
Absolutely, the patronut mythology.
You mean urban legends?
You want to explain
For me, I heard the fringe. It was all about the fringe on the flag.
Oh,
And that turned me off immediately. I was like, y'all gonna have to give me more information than that. Like, I'm not getting it. But
and do you know when I first found jurisdictionary, I think it was 2012 or 2012 or maybe 2011. It was a while ago. And that was one of his catchphrases. He's like, you can learn how to win in court without having to talk about the fringe. I was like, without having to talk about the fringe? What? And then I learned about the fringe people, the ones who said, Nana Nana Boo Boo, this is proof that your admiralty court or you're a maritime court or you're de facto or something wasn't ratified and things like that. And of course, the reason why that type of I don't know if you want to call it framing, thinking, perspective, is that when you're talking about the gold fringe on the flag, that is wholly irrelevant to were you speeding.
In my boat, my canoe.
I'm just saying. What? Court.
Email. Let's-
Okay. Okay. Gratitude. So here on Newbie Tuesdays, if you have your newbie questions, raise your hand, get into the queue so that we can talk about it. Gratitude for everybody joining us here on TikTok. Go ahead and tap it out, guys. We're at 1,000 tap outs with 15 people in the room. That means y'all been tapping y'all lives away. Oh, and the other thing I realized is that you guys really wanted that book. Okay. So we're gonna get that book back up. The other book I think that I should recommend you guys to read. Oh, you guys sold out the book. Could you guys imagine? You guys sold out the Overruled book. Shout out to everybody who got it. That's awesome. So now, the one that I have pinned, did it pin? Let me pin it. It's Propaganda. This is a book that I not only have and read, but I also we gave it to our children to read as well. Propaganda. Put a one in the chat if you have read the book Propaganda. This book is important because even though I come from a marketing background, or I should say because I come from a marketing background, this is the type of stuff we had to read. Because when you comprehend propaganda, you comprehend how easily people can be manipulated by trigger words, colors, and images, symbols. Words, colors, and symbols.
Yes.
Yes, everybody should get a copy. Everybody should get a copy. It might even come with free shipping, I'm not sure. But go ahead and get yourself a copy and read it for yourself. And I highly encourage people to read it with their children. Okay, audiobook, that's fine too. If you have an audiobook, you can actually our mind absorbs information best when we do both visual reading of the words as well as hearing it. That's why sometimes we absorb information better when we read out loud, even to ourselves, or have others read out loud to us. It's also why children like for you to read that same book 50, 11 zillion times.
Word.
One of the other books that we used to read our children, I don't know if it's in here, but Who Moved My Cheese? That was an interesting book for
Was that
sure.
was that by Martha Stewart? I'm kidding.
I just shared a PDF of the propaganda inside the chat there.
Say again?
I just shared a copy inside the Zoom chat here. Propaganda.
Propaganda for the
So,
PDF. Yeah, so if you guys are on TikTok but you want to get over into the Zoom, you guys can join us right here. Appreciate each and every one of you being in the room. Go ahead and tap it out, guys. Go ahead and tap it out. Somebody's trying to come up? We don't usually have people come up on Tuesdays, but we do have people raise their hand with their newbie questions. So let's go ahead. I have something I want to show you guys, but we'll answer a few questions and then we'll get into that. And what do I want to show you guys? A very interesting experiment about utopia and a worryless society.
I know where this is gonna end.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of, maybe. If it's what I
Okay.
think it is, but I yield. I'm back in my corner now.
No, you're good. Okay, Nat has your hand up. Go ahead and ask your newbie question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right. I received the letter back from AT&T and they're not ready to do right. They says we are in receipt of your recent letter regarding payments and the conditions of terms of service with AT&T. Thank you for your opportunity to respond. We respectfully dispute all claims and decline all demands, including those requesting specific documentation or handling. A customer relations with AT&T is governed by the AT&T Consumer Service Agreement, and then they just say where you can find the agreement. So,
What is this in regards
I
to
said,
as far as Newbie Tuesday?
You took the question right out of
well,
my mouth.
I'm trying to eliminate the 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 payment, the monthly payment that they're requiring.
You're trying to eliminate it. And what law are you using?
Yeah, I what was that?
What law or rule or regulation or what are you using to do that?
Well, I was trying to go by the free utilities lesson and freedoms from government.
Okay.
So
What state is it?
this is Connecticut,
Okay. So what did you
and
send them?
uh, I I sent them the dispute letter, um, you know, referencing the codes and stuff that they were violating, and letting them know that I'm not responsible for the payment because I'm the wrong party. Um, and I let them know that they use
What
my
Connecticut rules are you using?
well. I didn't find any Connecticut rules. I just used the information that was on the letter, um, because they don't have. I mean, it didn't pretty much line up with the utilities. It didn't pretty much line up with the utilities presentation.
Right, because that's what do
And
you say? AT&T, like your mobile phone service?
yes, mobile phone
I don't think the
and
mobile
it's
phone service is quite a utility. A utility is what's considered a public utility,
okay.
like
Yes, it's I
landlines,
was thinking.
gas, right?
Okay, so it'll have to be a landline to
Or gas or
correlate with.
light, water, those things that are
Okay,
naturally occurring and belonging to the
I tried to
people.
find some with the. I tried to find some telecommunications regulations and
Yes, that's what
trying
you
to
have
see
to
if there's
find.
anything that.
That's what you would
Yeah.
absolutely have to find if you wanted to explore that.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing you
Okay.
brought that up, but you definitely want to find it and don't make moves if you don't have your solid backing either on the state and or the federal, depending on what regulates the entity. You want to make
Word.
sure you find it, okay? Before you take the action.
Is it in collection?
Ooh, good question. Good question, Seven.
Just asking.
Nat, are you there?
Okay.
Okay,
If
if
you
Nat
want, we
comes
can move
back.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, if he comes
I'm
back,
back.
I
I
hope
don't
he
know whether
answers in the
you all
comments.
can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay. Yeah, I'm back. I have a bad signal on top of
Yeah, you do.
having to pay for this thing up.
Is it in collections?
No, no, it's an active account.
Okay.
Uh, and I'm just trying to uh, let them know that they've already been paid from the data elements that I gave them when I initiated the account.
But you have to find lawful backing for that. You can't just make those statements without finding something to anchor it to.
Is Mother
Right.
Sahara available?
So just saying, well, I told them this and I told them that, that's not like the end of the story. That has to be supported,
Right.
See if I can find
Yeah.
this real quick.
especially if it's in the state.
Yep, I'm here.
If it's in the state, yes.
Go ahead. Apologies.
Oh,
No, go ahead, Sahar.
I wanted to ask Mother Sahara because I just didn't have it handy real quick. But as far as the consumer stuff, do you have that handy?
I don't have it handy.
Okay, I'll look for it and I'll see if I can maybe put something in the chat for him to look forward to. Or Nat, what you can do is look to see what Connecticut has as consumer protection. Start there. That's a good thing. Start there.
Yes, because even I'm not. You guys are gonna make me set up my whole library up in the shed so I can have my books handy again. In that same national association for public utilities or whatever the book was that we went over in the class, I can't remember. I think that's the name. The most well, one of the most valuable things in there is that in every state that they talked about the utilities, it had case law to support the provision for the utilities. And that's how we know those things exist in your state as well. So you just have to do like the law library thing and make sure you find legislation directly from the statutes or from case law that support what it is that you're attempting to do. You never want to just be making declarations that are unsupported. And you absolutely want to find out where it is in your state statute, especially like how we were able to show as an example in Washington and how Cindy was able to get her stuff done in Ohio. So good question.
Thank you.
I'm glad to help. Josette.
Hello, thank you for taking my call again.
Gratitude for being here. Go ahead with your newbie question.
I'm glad to be here. So my tort claim that I talked about last week, it went to the Claims Commission, but it also went to the Attorney General's office. They sent it, so they've opened up this case, and they sent me what almost appear to be like court documents, just telling me everything that's going on and so I'm wondering, should I begin a discovery and interrogatories on them, or?
You have to look at the rules that are governing whatever the administrative act that you're doing.
Have you completed the As Above, So Below series as well as your notes and turned them in?
I haven't
Okay.
done that. No, I know
That
you
is-
probably want to get it done and get on Thursday.
I mean, that is definitely a Thursday specific question. However, Malika's response is
Yeah,
A+.
that's true. That is definitely a Thursday question, but yeah, whatever process you're following that, you use to say send it to wherever or whatever the form on top that you use was called, whatever that is, it has a process. So you
That was the
want
tort
to,
claim. Yeah,
okay. So when you just go back to where it explains the Tort Claims Act and what's supposed to happen and where it says who's supposed to send it to and all that, and it should tell you what the next step is or if there is a procedure associated with it, rules of evidence that are associated with it, if at all. That's what you want to look at.
okay.
Always. One of the things that always amazes us guys is that when we win these things, it's on the rules, and one of the things that surprises us is that when we're studying, we always hear, and you guys could could let us know. Put a 1 in the chat if you've always heard the attorneys don't really know law, but they know procedure. Have you guys ever heard that?
Allegedly. Yes, I've heard that. I'm saying
You've
allegedly.
heard this, right? Anybody else
Folks
allegedly
don't know
heard that?
procedure either.
That's what we realize. They don't know procedure either because
Correct.
we are beating them on procedure. Let me give you newbies some encouragement. If you have even read the First Amendment, much less can recite it.
Scalia. That's Scalia.
We just learned from a former attorney and Supreme Court Justice Scalia that attorneys are not taught the First Amendment in law school. They are not taught the First Amendment, guys. They are not.
Word.
We are beating them with the First Amendment, which for some reason they like to call esoteric.
Oh my.
They like to call.
Ooh.
What do they term it as, Seven?
Talking about metaphysical.
Yes, metaphysical. They say it's
Right.
bitch, it's the First Amendment.
Crazy.
It's very metaphysical.
For real.
When we talk about it's against my religion to contract with government. How about it's against my religion to what is the government going to say if I let them know that it is my sincerely held religious belief
Word.
by the First Amendment and the what's it called? The
Liberty of
religious
conscience
religious
clause.
reformation.
Oh, RFRA.
Yes.
Mhm. And the RLU IPA.
Put those in the chat.
Got you.
They have a Religious Freedom Reformation Act. What? You show that it is your sincerely held, not that you're just saying it for today. Religious beliefs. They can't interfere with that.
I know I could have put the link, but I want you guys to start doing some work. Don't be mad
That's
at me.
love. That's real love.
Gratitude.
Guys, the First Amendment. We're not using it enough. You know why? Because the deceivers want us to be afraid of religion.
No, you don't need to.
Word.
The deceiver, destroyer,
Absolutely.
the liar.
They use religion both for destruction and to make people afraid of religion. When it's convenient, they want you to be afraid. When it's inconvenient, they want you to abandon it and say, I'm just spiritual or whatever. But what does religion mean? It means what you're tied to. Yes? What
Yeah,
you're
how you
Deeply
live your
held
what
life.
you're
belief.
bound to.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
why the
And
Sanhedrin
some of us
wanted
are
to kill
bound
Jesus.
to some bullshit. Okay?
Preach.
I don't care what you want to call it. I don't care. We all know what's right and we all know what's wrong. That is religion. Okay? What you are bound to, what you set your constitution to. Are you
Word.
going to do unto others as they want done unto them? Are you going to start some stuff so there'll be some stuff? Are you going to covet? Or are you going to protect the vulnerable? Y'all ever seen that scene of alleged wildlife where a cheetah or something attacks a gazelle, a mama gazelle? But after unaliving the mama gazelle, she realizes that there is a baby gazelle. So they eat the mama and protect the baby. Did y'all see that? They protected the baby
It's
from
very
some
strange.
other It only seems strange because if a wild animal that will actually eat that baby if it's a little bit older, okay, would protect the baby, but we as people, we harm babies and allow harm to babies of
So you
our
That's a fact.
own kind, our own human kind.
so
That's a
even
fact.
cheetahs wait for their fruit to ripen. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bam. Bam. A cheetah knows better than you.
Interesting.
I hear a lot of people are resigning, but I don't care nothing about resigning. We need
That's
some,
not going to fix the problem.
that's not going to fix the problem at all.
Word.
If we want to protect ourselves, we will have to take things into our own hands. And that is what it seems like these people are daring us to do. Are we going to stuff our heads back in the sand? They're
Challenge
pretending.
accepted.
Hell no.
Nope.
These
That's
people
what
need
that.
to be on site.
That's what one guy said to Congress about all of the so-called fraud, all the laws and everything. He says they're taking advantage of all these antiquated government systems so they can slide and just
You
do
think
whatever
they're
they want.
taking advantage of antiquated government systems? I think that bringing forward those antiquated government systems that were put in place for us to do what we need to do when we need to do it, we need to come bring those back forward and implement them. Because in our experience, they're afraid of those antiquated things. They prefer to do something they call modern judiciary choice
Word.
and deference and
Word.
convenience for the preservation of the system itself, disconnected from its foundational interest in justice.
I
They're
go
not
with Patrick.
using those antiquated things. They are
Right.
deathly afraid of those antiquated things that have never been overturned and simply being ignored even by the people that complain about the results of ignoring it.
Yeah, economic vampires are definitely promoting the economic coercion.
The world is a vampire.
It's not the world. It's the people that run the banks. And it's time for us to wake up and realize it. So I want to, McGarvey, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Emotional outbursts. Okay. So, um, dealing with the same thing, just the form. And I called the clerk and I recorded this conversation. I sent you an email of the conversation. I don't know if you peeped it or not, but basically the clerk is saying that an unsworn declaration under the penalty of perjury is not legally sufficient, even though I pointed out the federal law. So then I found a state law that basically says the same thing. And then
You
I called
always
her
have
back.
to
I was
use the
like,
state. Go
yeah. And
ahead.
so I called her back with the state law. And she was like, oh, that don't apply to you. And I was like, yo, how do you know it don't apply to me? Is that your job? And then she hung up on me. And I hopped on Newbie Tuesday. So here I am. That's my emotional outburst. I'm sorry.
You had on the
Amazing.
ropes, McGarvey. You had on the ropes. She quit.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had the recording yesterday. So she was like, nope, there's no other way. Otherwise, you have to go get a notary. You got to do X, Y, and Z. So then I called back with the state law because you said the federal law don't apply. So I came with the state law, then you hang up in my face. So I'm just feeling, I was so perturbed. I had to walk out. I had to chill out. You know what I'm saying? Taking a little
So
puff.
let me just ask you, why not get the notary?
Because why don't they just do what the law says that they're supposed to do? You know, I don't know.
Okay, do
Maybe.
you have it in the law? Can you show it to
Yeah.
us where it says in the
Yeah.
law that even without it being unsworn, they should have to take it?
I substantiate it by the rules of the court and the 911, which is the Unsworn Declarations Act. And it tells you about if it's required, unless it's like me taking an oath to be in a position, or like whatever. They says you can use the unsworn declaration. So,
Can
and
you
it's
show it to us in
substantively,
the state?
it's the,
Can you
say
show it to us?
again.
Can you show it to us in the state statute?
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love to
Hold on.
see
Let
it.
me. Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, I already got it up because I was just looking at it. She got me so hot. Goodness gracious.
You
Share
just talk to her
screen.
boss, that's all. Or walk it in there. Is it far from you?
No, it's not that far. I can get there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get there if I need to get there. That's not a problem.
Walk it in there and see, be kind and cordial and see if they'll file it then. And if not, just ask them for whoever's above them that can make an executive decision based on the actual rules. Okay, so this is the Uniform Unsworn Declaration. This
Yeah.
Unsworn Declarations Act. This code section shall be known entitled as Uniform Unsworn Declarations Act. As used in this code section, the term law includes a statute, judicial decision or order, rule of court, executive order, and administrative rule, regulation, or order. God, law is a lot of stuff for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sign means intent to authenticate. Okay. Sworn declaration means a declaration in a signed record given under oath. Such term includes a sworn statement, verification, certificate, and affidavit. Unsworn declaration means a declaration in a signed record not given under oath, except as provided in the subsection D of this code, or otherwise precluded by law. This court section shall apply to an unsworn declaration by a declarant who, at the time of making the declaration, is physically located outside the boundaries of the United States.
So you didn't go to a notary, but you just wrote under the penalties of perjury.
Yes.
But wait, it says making a declaration is physically located outside the boundaries of the United States, Puerto Rico, or the United States Virgin Islands, and any territory or insular possession subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
So is that the contiguous United States, or is that DC and its territories, or
That what they described seems like DC and the territories once they say United States, comma, and then Puerto Rico, the
right? And
United
then
States
Virgin
Virgin
Islands, and then
Islands, and
territories
then
or
the territory and
insular.
insular possessions. Okay, scroll
That's what I
down.
got from it.
Except as
Seems like you would have to use that
paragraph 2.
because the
The
state
law
notary
of the
is
state
no good
requires
outside
or
the state.
permits use of sworn declarations in a court. An unsworn declaration meeting the requirements of this code has the same effect as a sworn declaration. This code shall not apply to depositions, oaths of office, an oath expressly required, an oath, an instrument expressly required by statute to comply, or an oath required by sections of that. Okay, so how do you know whether or not your document is an instrument expressly required?
This is because this is where you can find the provision of the document. I can show it to you. 1 second here. Here you go. Bambino.
But that says litigation. That says litigation.
Yeah, this is for the in order to
Affidavit.
proceed. Affidavit. Yeah.
But go back up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
This is talking about litigation, affidavit of indigence.
Yeah.
What is it that you filed?
I filed the affidavit of indigency. This is the requirement. This is what governs that. So
Okay.
when any
And does
party or
in this
plaintiff,
in does it say that it has to be verified or
no, it doesn't. It just says when a party, plaintiff, or defendant in any action or proceeding held in any court in this state is unable to pay any deposit fee or other costs which normally required by the court, if the party shall subscribe an affidavit to the effect that because of his indigence he is unable to pay the costs, the party shall be relieved from paying the costs and his
yeah, but
rights shall
does
be.
it specify how it must be authenticated?
No, this is what it is. This is the extent of that.
So what code are they using to say it has to be signed? Did
No,
they
they're
tell you?
not. They're not. Sometimes they refer to this one, but they don't refer to any specific section or part of it
Yeah,
that
but we're
says
talking about only and specifically the part that says this document has to be notarized as they are saying.
The Supreme. It's in their own Supreme Court rules or whatever the rules are. But this is the governing statute
Yeah, I
in the
think
state.
you're anticipating what you think I'm asking, but it's okay.
What do you? Okay, I'm sorry. Ask what you're saying again.
There, you are submitting a document pursuant to this rule here.
Mm-hmm.
And they are saying that this rule here suggests that it's required to be notarized.
No, they're not saying that this particular rule suggests it requires to be notarized.
But they're also
They're
not
saying
telling you what rule says that it's required to be notarized.
they're saying that their specific rules require it to be
Yeah, but
notarized.
what rule is that?
In the Supreme Court rules, like the court rules of the Supreme
But
Court.
what is that? What rule is that?
Um,
Which rule? I think you have to look for the rule, not just look in the Supreme Court. So whatever
what,
rule they gave you, you need to go look it up, is all I'm saying.
okay, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't give me a rule.
She
She just
has to
said
give you a rule.
she
We
said
don't
that.
care what she's saying. We know
Okay.
we need the rule that supports
Mm-hmm.
what they're saying so that you could go and research it yourself. The reason I'm
And
asking is because when we did a tort claim against the city clerk wrote us a letter back saying that the thing that we submitted needed to be notarized, and they stated a specific rule, and we
Mm-hmm.
just went and read it and then copy pasted it back to her to show her that it does not say that it needs to be verified or notarized in any way, shape, or form. However, if this will suffice, we just gave our thumbprint. And so
and
everybody gave their thumbprint. I'm
and
not
if I
saying
may
to do
add,
that, but that's what we did based on the rule they gave. So don't let them
Okay.
not give you a rule if they're allegedly quoting it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hassan.
yeah, pardon me. I didn't mean to cut you. I was just inspired to say this. And I think it needs to be said, especially on Newbie Tuesday. And this is nothing to you at all, McGarvey, directly, as much as just hearing how you said how you corresponded with her. I will say this. We have to have white glove decorum when we're speaking with these people, no matter how much of a nuisance we may feel it is, right? But
Yeah.
we have to be almost like Morgan Freeman in Driving Miss Daisy. I sure always like to take you to the Piggly Wiggly, ma'am. Well, but not specifically like that. But what I think is absolutely necessary is for us to be hold on, bro, one second.
I
For
think
us,
we need to be the architect in the Matrix one at the in the white suit.
yes, we
That's
have
who
to
we need
have
to be.
absolute decorum, and because that is what is needed. You know what I mean? Yeah, hold on, bro. We have to
You got.
be
Go
okay.
ahead.
So we have to be absolutely polite. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe let them hear your smile through the phone because
Mm-hmm.
they will put wings on their ankles for you when you need what it is that you need. And even if they say something that is conclusory, that's when you continue with them hearing your smile. Oh, well, I was just reading the rules here and it says, so do you guys do that or no? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
didn't do that. I
Kids
didn't do
play
that, bro.
dumb.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me? You can say it, bro. It's okay, bro. You
No,
can say
I
it. You
already
talking to me,
prefaced
bro?
that it's not necessarily you, but since you told us today
Yeah.
how you
Uh-huh.
corresponded, I would say to add to your wisdom when corresponding with these people, and this is from experience. There's been times where I have to literally, depending on the jurisdiction, I will voice act. If I'm talking to somebody from like near Baltimore or near like the Maryland area, I use an island accent because I know that makes them want to get the call done quickly, so they're going to be extra polite.
Oh.
No,
What?
I'm
Yeah,
serious.
man. Yeah,
Excuse me,
man.
I am looking for something in your rules and I can't find it. They be like, are you from Maryland? Oh no, not really. I'm from much further south, but I need your help. So can you help me? And they do not feel like doing that. but they will do everything I'm asking because I'm so polite with that accent. But if I use this Baltimore accent, I'm going to get Bumquisha on the other end, and she's going to talk shit.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
And
I
then,
feel that. I feel
you know
that.
what I'm saying? And then if I'm, kind of like talking to Southern jurisdictions, I am almost that they probably will think I am a specific kind of person because I'd be like, hey, I need some help finding something, please. And I'm just hoping, like, if I cut open my head and dump out everything that I think I know, you can just pour in your wisdom. So here I go. Bear with me. That's exactly how I talk to him. I do not fuck
Expertly
around.
there.
Yeah,
I
I definitely was kind of barking, and I do have the phone call recorded if y'all ever want to
Uh-oh.
hear it. But
Uh-oh.
I could play it right now if you want to
Give
hear
bark,
it.
give
But
honey.
You can't actually give the N-word public servant attitude.
yeah.
yeah, it was. You know what happened? It was like because in the beginning it was super cordial. I was like, "Hey, how are you doing? Remember me? We spoke yesterday, and I just happened to find something, and I would like to know if you would reconsider." And then I felt like when she rejected me, I kind of got upset, and that's when I started doing too
But you have,
much. But
and I'm glad you're sharing that because whenever an agent gives you any legal advice, because that's what the shit is, always ask them what rule they're using. Like without fail. Like that has to be
Word.
that has to become the knee-jerk reaction. Oh, you're saying I need to do this or I cannot do that. Would you be so kind as to tell me the rule that supports what you're saying so that I can research it?
and what if they tell you they can't discuss legal stuff with you? That's what she said to me.
But I don't understand. They're rejecting and they're claiming a basis of that rejection. It is not unfair to request the basis of what they're saying.
She said then that would be giving me legal. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, and I might sound
Well,
crazy
then
saying
that's
it.
why you have to ask for their supervisor or something. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, that's yeah. I
Because
guess I
if
have
I'm
to figure out.
telling you that there exists a rule that says I cannot accept this, it has to be in the rules that they're referring to.
Word.
Hmm.
So, and if they can't tell you, that's okay. You just get their supervisor or whoever the head clerk is.
That was the clerk, but I guess it's
Really?
like who? Yeah, she was the clerk. I was talking to the senior deputy clerk, and then she was like, "I'm gonna have somebody else talk to you." And then when I was talking to the lady, she was like, "No, I am the clerk," and I was like, "Wow." So of the appellate court,
Of the appellate court.
yeah.
And they can't point you to a rule that supports what they're saying?
She said no. She just said this rule doesn't apply. 911 doesn't apply to me, and then that the court rule um is basically or like
Is it because uh scroll down?
hmm what she said was because I was within the United States. That's the
Yeah,
last thing she
right,
said.
right, right. That's what I was just about to say.
That's like a legal
The
determination,
declarant
though.
who at the time of making the declaration is physically located outside the boundaries of, does she know where the boundaries of the United States is?
I asked her, and she told me I'm not getting into that with you. We know where the United States is. That's what she told
We?
me.
Who is
That's what she
we?
told me. I said I'll tell you where I'm at if you can tell me the legal definition of where the United States is. The what I said, what is it? Admissible, legally admissible. And then she was like, I'm not getting into that with you. You know
Okay,
where the
okay,
United States
okay,
is.
McGarvey. Another way of saying that is, oh,
Hmm.
you know what? That is so helpful. But I just need you to. Maybe it's me. I am just all over the place on my devices today. Can you tell me where you're reading that from, please, so I can just read along with you?
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
did with
learning.
the
That's
tax.
tough. That's tough.
That's
That's
what I did
I
with
need
the
that.
tax clerk. I was like, would you be willing to read the definition of person with me? And you could tell she read that shit for the first time in her life. So is there one that talks about within the United States? Because this is interesting.
Just the federal law. Okay, we could go to the federal one.
No, 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 no,
Oh
no,
no,
no.
I'm sorry. Then
We
no,
want
then no.
Georgia. Is there one that
Georgia.
specifically says within, then requires this is still the same one. I
Yeah,
mean, I
no, I'm
guess
just trying to see
you can go and look
if
at it if you find it. Let us know.
okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure.
All right. Gratitude, guys.
Oh,
Word.
how do I stop sharing? Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Love you guys. Yeah, I was perturbed a little
Yes,
bit,
much
but
love.
You
yeah,
know what's
unfortunately,
interesting too with that, Malika, is that tonight, just a bit of a shameless plug, I'm posting um a video on the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, and you and McGarvey demonstrated what will be in that video today, and y'all don't even know it. So it's just it's so in sync. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
I
won't
love
he
it.
do it? Won't he do it?
won't he will? Won't he will?
Wait a minute now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Preach.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Go ahead, I'm gonna stop.
I love you guys.
Indeed. What was you about to say, sis?
I was just
Love
gonna
you
load
guys
up the
too.
video I wanted to show you guys. It's 8 minutes about Utopia. But before we go into it again, guys, if you're on TikTok, go ahead and check out the book Propaganda. It is so relevant to every conversation that we have. And because it's Newbie Tuesday, I want to let you guys know that the most important thing you can develop in the beginning of your law studies is mindset.
Word.
A lot of us come to it because we are under some type of pressure already. We have a traffic ticket and we just want to get rid of it. We have a scheduled hearing for our parental rights, and or something like that is coming up in a month or so, a week, a month or two, or something like that. And that pressure narrows the mind and makes us susceptible to nonsense
Word.
that we just want to believe is right because that would make it quick and easy. But when we get into those situations, we need to realize as quickly as possible that it is the fact that we don't know what to do. We don't know the law. We don't know the law. Not knowing the law is what makes us not know what to do. Not knowing that there are rules of engagement that we practice on some level, or should say certain levels, but we don't know how those same exact things apply it with the law, in the law. So we typically go through a form of paralysis when it comes to evaluating the information that's before us. This is how we got by the birth certificate. I'll just say it as I used to. No offense to my Moorish friends. Birth
Word.
certificate bays. Because every time I was talking to somebody whose name was Bay, it starts off great and then it devolves into the birth certificate. And
I've made it the furthest. Let me stop. I'm kidding.
absolutely.
It's because I
we
wasn't
did.
on BS.
I
You're like
could
Highlander,
not
Hassan.
say that again.
I said he's like Highlander.
I know, right? I'm
I
Duncan
gotta be
MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod Bay.
Bay.
Beam me up. Beam me up, Scotty.
Oh my God. You guys.
I
So
can't.
I want to make sure I'm sharing the sound. Let me know if you guys have seen this before. It's new to me, but high stereo. It's definitely something that I think we all should watch. Make sure I'm going to unpin this for a second and I'm going to turn it down. Mindset is so much more important. Mindset is so much more important. We have to stop getting got by the birth certificate stuff, the you need to just start a trust and put things inside of it and all the other type of nonsense.
Could I share very quickly? A lot of the trauma-based therapy that I've been looking at is also being able to approach a situation, not making it perfect, but knowing that you have the ability to react, which is mindset, or know that you have the ability to, you know, address it properly.
Absolutely. You have what it takes. Absolutely. Okay, so this is called, you guys can see the screen, John Calhoun's Mouse Utopia Experiment. 1962. You guys can write that down, research it further. John Calhoun's Mouse Utopia Experiment. Make sure all the volumes are all the way up. All right. 8 minutes, guys.
Work of Dr. John Calhoun at the National Institute of Health in Washington, D.C. has attempted to answer this question. In a unique experiment that took years to complete, Dr. Calhoun used white mice to study population growth and its effects on individual behavior. In addition to his renowned research papers, he has recorded some of these observations on film. In this 16-cell mouse habitat, utopian conditions of nutrition, comfort, and housing were provided for a potential population of over 3,000 mice. Yet, in spite of ideal conditions, the mouse population met with catastrophe. Individuals were kept track of by color markings on their fur. Factors which normally control population growth, such as predation by owls or cats, were eliminated. Transmissible disease was also reduced. In effect, the mouse universe simulated the present situation of a continually expanding population of humans. To see how Dr. Calhoun's mouse universe grew, we'll use the familiar population graph again. Within the first 100 days, the mice went through the period Dr. Calhoun called strive. This was a period of adjustment. Territories were established, and nests were made. The next period lasted about 250 days. The population of the mice doubled every 60 days. This was called the exploit period. The use of resources became unequal. Although each living unit was identical in structure and opportunities, more food and water was consumed in some areas. As the population increased, most mice associated eating and drinking with the presence of others, and crowding developed in certain units. The third period, consisting of 300 days, found the population of mice leveling off. This was called the equilibrium period. Dr. Calhoun noticed that the newer generations of young were inhibited, since most space was already socially defined. At this time, some unusual behavior became noticeable. Violence became prevalent. Excess males strived for acceptance, were rejected, and withdrew. Huddling together, they would exhibit brief flurries of violence among themselves. The effects of violence became increasingly visible. Certain individuals became targets of repeated attack. These individuals would have badly chewed and scarred tails. Other young mice growing into adulthood exhibited an even different type of behavior. Dr. Calhoun called these individuals the beautiful ones. Their time was devoted solely to grooming, eating, and sleeping. They never involved themselves with others, engaged in sex, nor would they fight. All appeared as a beautiful exhibit of the species, with keen, alert eyes and a healthy, well-kept body. These mice, however, could not cope with unusual stimuli. Though they looked inquisitive, they were, in fact, very stupid. Dr. Calhoun called the last period the die phase, leading the population into extinction. Although the mouse utopia could house 3,000, the population began to decline at 2,200. In the shift from the equilibrium to the die phase, each animal became less aware of associates. despite all animals being pushed closer together. Dr. Calhoun concluded that the mice could not effectively deal with the repeated contact of so many individuals. The evidence of violence increased to the point where most individuals had had their tails bitten to some degree. Eventually, the entire mouse population perished. Dr. Calhoun's experiment is a classic example of a typical population and its growth when left unchecked. Research in this area continues under his supervision. Currently, Dr. James Hill has taken the basics of the Calhoun experiment to study social behavior even more closely. In his experiments, rats are used instead of mice. Healthy individuals are selected to start the population. The rats are anesthetized so that Dr. Hill can perform a minor operation necessary to the success of his experiments. A small electromagnetic encapsulated device is implanted into every rat. This small unit enables sensing devices to keep track of the movement and position of each individual in the population. After surgery, the rats are introduced to their new multi-leveled home, all at the same time. The rats immediately begin to explore their new environment prior to organizing territories and nesting. Dr. Hill will trace how individuals move about in crowded situations. This movement is followed by tubular sensing devices. Every time a rat enters or passes through a tube, the unit detects and registers its presence. This constant movement is monitored by computer. Nesting activity is also studied. Dr. Hill has observed that the larger the population, the less care a mother gives to her nest and young. The same type of individuals that resulted in the mouse utopia are also emerging in the rat population. There are aggressives, asocials, and outcasts. Though these studies use animals, the findings about population growth and individual behavior are being closely compared to our own human population.
Right? Anybody take notes about that?
I have a few. I'm gonna use our brother on TikTok's words. Nine dot ether speaker. My point of contention is those mice weren't one in their natural habitat. They were in what I would like to call, is Brother Shaw here, if he is, and Brother Maurice is here. We like to call that the projects.
Yes, sir.
That was the projects. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see the similar thing that happens in the projects in certain hoods for real. Those of y'all that really know what's up. So that was one point of contention for me. If I
That's
was
the
to
reason
use,
why it's called the project.
yeah, exactly,
It is an experiment.
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And not only just projects, but any time, in my opinion, you start to live in that stacking on top of each other type of way.
Correct.
Like all major cities, period. To me, they all look like projects. Even the ones in Miami, they want to call it a condo. It's the projects.
It is absolutely that.
Once you're living like that, tight for no reason. You know what I mean? Like there's wide open spaces, as everybody knows, right? But yet this selecting to be living stacked and crowded, and then you have all of the consequences, both negative and positive, about that, happening. I think
It's
this
just
experiment
business.
shows that it's an environmental thing,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, some people are
it's just
electing
business.
that environment.
Second thing, though, okay, so not only the rats were placed in this experimental project,
Hmm.
as the population grew, there was no other similar space that the growth was moved to prevent the decline. So for me, that goes to show that it was uh, predicated to fail from the start because they were removed from what where they can naturally thrive and placed in something that
But I think
promotes decline.
the point is that even if you want to look at Earth is still finite. Yes?
Gotcha.
So eventually, not saying that we're there necessarily, but the same environment will occur. It is also shown that we were placed here. We didn't just grow out the ground, right? Somebody had to say, we're going to take this one and put them right here. And these ones, they're going to be right here. That's exactly how we started.
Is that the Department of Agriculture
I don't know. I'm just saying that's how we started. That's
as
how
a
we started,
resource?
regardless of how long ago you want to say it was. That's how we started, regardless of where you want to say that start is on Earth. It was literally, we gonna put y'all asses right here. That's it.
Business.
So
Business.
we were placed in our environment, even though we would like to call it natural. We are an unnatural species because we did not evolve from something. We were manufactured. And that's probably one of the reasons that it's so difficult for us to be one with nature because we ourselves are not natural. We are not a natural development. We are a hybrid creation. And we have to accept that fact.
But I don't have any chemicals or additives. Am I all natural?
I'm sure you're full of chemicals.
You
I'm
got
sure
it.
we're all very full of chemicals, even if you want to call those chemicals natural reactions, hormones, genes, and DNA and RNA and all that. We are nothing but a ball of chemicals and chemical reactions. That's how come we
Agent Orange,
live and breathe and thrive and even die. That's what we do.
plastic.
Okay, Skenny said he saw that in a college class. Okay. What
Sounds like
anybody
that's
else
what.
want to say what they got from this clip?
Yeah, you.
Gratitude.
I
I
thought it
got a
was
little bit
interesting.
from, go ahead,
Go
McGarvey.
ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead, Linnea.
I got from this, I believe that this is the basis of the research that they did when they decided, oh, we need to handle population. We have a population issue and we need to oversee this to help everyone.
Shut up, Bill
To
Gates. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
precisely. They start getting
Bullet,
ideas in their
bullet,
head that they need to help.
bullet. I'm sorry, Linnea. Please continue.
Yeah, you good, sis. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That's precisely my point. Bill
Indeed.
Gates, we looking at you.
I think they know what is happening because it is partially encouraged environment to draw people out of the country, for example, and into the cities for this thing called more opportunity, where you don't actually appreciate what small town living has to offer because it just seems so cool, right? And attractive to have nightlife and so on close to you. And this is why people are stacked on top of bodegas in New York, okay? And on the top of the mom and pop um, fruit stands and pizza shops and etc. They want to be right stacked on top of it. Insanity to me. Insane to just want to be in the hustle and bustle and have your uh nervous system always on heightened alert, you know?
There's this guy who is a consultant for the CIA, and he talks about how cities produce sociopaths because you will be in a city and you'll see someone get hurt and no one will do anything. And
Right.
I've seen it happen in Miami where people will take out their phones and nobody's calling 911. But it's this sort of detachment that you get from your neighbors, even though you're all on top of each other, like you said.
But it seems like that's the environment that makes you take each other for granted and make
Mm-hmm.
things like nothing is sacred and nothing
It's like
surprises you. You're desensitized about everything. What did you guys think about the statement that in those crowded environments, the children were basically ignored?
sounds like today.
Yeah, sounds exactly that today.
I asked what you guys think about it. I don't,
Yeah,
of course,
I
it's
think
today.
I
Bad.
think
Go ahead, McGarvey.
no, I think that that is what contributed to the degradation of society because if the children are neglected and that is the new set of people who are going to get older and contribute as the natural, I guess, like life continues because everything dies or nature goes through its cycles or whatever this is goes through its cycles. So, if the children weren't neglected, I wonder if it wouldn't have disintegrated like that. And I also would like to, get your feedback. Maybe like, is it possible to create a city? Like, there was this one guy who I seen. He had created some type of structure where like he could like house like 1 million people, and it could provide food and all that other different stuff. So like, yeah, there's
But doesn't that sound like a recreation of the exactly what we just watched? Remember, it is built on the concept that there was food and water abundant.
Mhm.
Y'all want me to rewind that part? Because it will.
Yeah, so then what okay, so then what about like the mental acuity of the people? Because the food and water is the beginning because you need food and water to grow and develop into an adult, but then you also have to take care of the mental part. So is there an aspect of that that could be inserted into that model that could possibly make it not terrible, if that makes sense?
Like what?
Or is it just like doomed? Like like not neglecting the children. I think that's like a clear, is there a way to
But
make sure that
remember that they're showing what a type of environment, the behavior that a type of environment creates and supports. So in this type of environment, and this is why I find those statements of I'm not going to compare myself with rats, but the Europeans could have fun with that. What a terrible statement to make in this community. Because you can learn from behaviors of others, regardless of what kind of animal, including the human animal. You can learn what environment itself helps to create because it's typically based on a environmental principle that is not unique to the type of animal or even plant. The lesson to be learned is when this environment or these environmental conditions exist, this is the typical type of behavior that comes from it. Not to get caught up if it's a rat or a monkey or a dog or a chimpanzee, but especially if you are able to show that it's congruent among other animals, it would be, again, ridiculous to say that any particular mammal is exempt from this environment, especially if you can repeat it across species, especially of mammals.
I think that same guy did an experiment called like Mouse Park, where he had two different living conditions. One was like essentially like a mouse park where it had all this, kind of fun stuff and all these things that they could do and keep their mind busy. And then the other one didn't have that, and they had drugs. And the mice who could go to the other side chose to have the freedom and the fun over the drugs. So like if you follow what I'm saying, they could have like sucked, whatever kind of drugs they had in the water on the one side that was just kind of like living in, the situation that we just watched. But if they had the option to go to the other side where they could live and do things and not just be stuck in these, little rooms or whatever it was, and it showed that they would always choose to do that over the drugs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, bro. I
So
see
you
that
talk about
before.
that forest therapy? Get outside, touch some grass.
Well, just kind of like you're saying about living outside in the country and all these, and just not living on top of each other, because when those are the conditions, it's even mice or other animals will do this same thing. Will
Yep.
choose drugs and stuff like that because they're trying to stimulate their mind, but they have no way to explore that and to release that, that built up desire to do those kind of things.
So
I
we
like
have.
to. Oh,
Go ahead.
I would like to add to that. So when it comes to expanding the mind, right? And that's interesting that we're talking about that because one thing that absolutely is not turned off in all beings, even if it's not spoken about, is telepathy. And like Wi-Fi, there's always a constant signal coming off of us from whatever thought patterns we're having. And it could seem like it's an unspoken thing that's occurring, but it's absolutely related telepathically, even if people aren't aware or animals, as they're called, quote unquote, aren't aware, but I absolutely think they are. So what's happening is maybe even that decline that we saw take place in that video was a collective agreement to be extinct because there was no way of quote unquote getting outside.
And that's where a lot of people are because of the system that we have created.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are trapped. You remember one of those consultations we had, I think, a couple of weeks ago now,
Yeah.
where, you know, you got two jobs, the spouse got two jobs, both everybody's stretched, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're feeling pressure. That
Mm-hmm.
is a feeling of I cannot get out. And there are millions of people that are in that position. Yes, you can get out like you could walk outside, right, for a few minutes, but you know what I mean?
But that
You're
very
you're
thought
you're
is
still trapped in your
radiating.
situation.
Yeah, that very thought is radiating. Soon as you're upset or whether you're happy, that thought is radiating, right?
Yes.
So with that thought radiating, even if it's not spoken, it's felt. And I think that's something that we know is happening, but it is not a popular conversation to have because we don't want to look like, tinfoil hat wearers or something. You know what I mean? But since that's the case, and since we have evidence in things outside of ourselves, like quote unquote Wi-Fi, then maybe, just maybe, we should take that into account also when you have these stacked on top of each other projects that are happening. People are seeming to just, oh, they lost their mind all of a sudden, or they tapped into
Right.
that one little network of someone maybe beneath them or someone above them, and now they are reacting or doing the actions of the thoughts that are around them. And then people are like, I don't know what happened. Well, what happened is the fact that the culture of each one reach one teach one is
Yeah,
not
the
being promoted.
environment. The
Correct.
environment is what
Correct.
And then we know that we live in not just an era, but a society, we don't know how long back it goes, that is manufactured, socially engineered. Just like
Correct.
this experiment we just saw. It's a social engineering. A lot of the problems that people are having are not even like, I mean, they're real, like you are experiencing them, but they're not real, like a natural
They're
outcropping.
contrived. Right, yeah, they're contrived. Maybe.
Yes. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. The question is, can we,
Absolutely.
with our quote unquote civilized selves, prevent such decline? I think yes. And let me just tell you why briefly. Because kindness goes a very long way. What usually is the problem is selfishness. I yield.
I absolutely agree with that point, Hassan. And I think that if this experiment were done in like a familial type community, something where the beings in it actually have some type of connection where you actually want to be kind and help each other, I think this experiment would have actually looked like what real life looks like. How many times do we see like multi-generational homes where you have the grandparents and you have a whole family, but and these will even be people that live in very close quarters that maybe are uncomfortable, but they're happy, right? So I think you have to have that bond so that people can be kind to each other and the society is actually worth living in, right?
Indeed.
And so, if I can also shameless plug Malika, and I think it was in the Feed the Fam class or one of the classes, she was like, "Is there somebody doing something that you want to do right now, or what do people often do?" And we often do those things that we don't desire to do. So, the kindness is if we did whatever we would love to do, and we share with everybody that we love, or just everybody in general, then I think that would be like a proper conduct of like a utopia because people are just doing stuff that they don't really want to do. So, and if you do what you love, you'll probably do it really well. So, everybody do what they love for everybody else, then I think that everybody's needs are taken care of. It's kind of like saying that everybody does everything for everybody for free, but
I
you
think
only
the
do what
Federal
you
Reserve would disagree, but go ahead, I'm listening. So you stop.
alleged. Everything I'm saying right now is allegedly, okay, on the record.
Indeed, bro.
Okay,
Go ahead.
we got it.
Nah, so
Allegedly.
I'm looking at a Chipotle right now. Like the people who are probably in Chipotle, they probably don't want to be there. They could be doing something else, like creating art or doing something that could benefit humanity and the society and nature as a whole. But instead, they are societally confined to work at Chipotle because of the concept of bills and all this other Federal Reserve stuff allegedly that we're talking about. So.
Every time he say Federal Reserve, you gotta say allegedly. Thanks, Hassan.
Because you never know, allegedly.
Anybody want to share anything else about this clip?
If I may, so like let's say we had a project or like I guess the environment, and instead of like having grocery stores, the people were responsible for providing the thing for themselves and they were educated on doing so. Would the outcome be the same?
That's a
And would
great
that,
question. Maybe that would be the human difference of us getting to choose, of us, for example, realizing that we're locked in this, you know, environment, if you will. Kind of like in the Truman Show when when he opens the door, obviously there's more world outside
Correct.
than what's inside of that made up bubble.
Correct. Can it be
so
done without trying to control people? Can self-control be the catalyst? And can people admit when they're not having a great day so that they can prevent crime or prevent any other level of selfishness? I yield.
I think that's a great question. And I also
Agreed.
wanted to say perhaps like and I'll just put it out there, right? So I was thinking if I was to build a society or have a quote unquote maybe government, if that's even a thing, um the punishments would be on the public officials. So basically, if you are found to be contriving the law, no matter what it is, because the purpose of it is to defend freedom and do it without control, then those public officials shall be put to death. And then that's just how you deal with that. Would
I
that then
don't I don't know if those in my opinion in studying not just experiments like this one but similar ones, it's all environmental. So it's not just instilling morality, because even with all the morality in the world, if you create certain constructs, even if they're not physical walls, they're mental walls, you will still create an environment that results in these types of things we just saw.
Well, I will say that lawful living is creating an environment of
Mm-hmm.
truth. And I'll express it this way is because even some of Malika's former associates I was familiar with, and I was on different platforms, and people were asking me like, "Who are telling you this information?" And I didn't want to provide the name because I don't know, I just felt weird about it. I don't know if anybody has had that experience where maybe calling out something is a little bit difficult for you, but now in the environment of truth, when you tell the truth, you defend everybody because the truth is what it is, and nobody can be deceived. So I like what we're doing here, and I appreciate y'all. I want to add that. You know what I mean?
The
You're
gratitude.
appreciate you,
You're
bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to say something about the video.
Okay.
Um, well, first of all, Malik, I totally agree with you and about how we've all been manipulated and I won't go into the details of my study into that, but certainly we are not natural here. We're hybrids. However, we do have a God spark in us all. And I also would like to say that the constructs that were created from our forced enslavement, shall we say, have traumatized us so greatly for so many years. Like we don't even know for sure, but it's definitely more than thousands, perhaps millions.
Mm-hmm.
And that the patterns we've developed as a result of that trauma and the way we've adapted to those patterns in our trauma are very dysfunctional, and that it's hard to see or even to have an experiment like this without noting the history of trauma and how deep and far it reaches. So, but the good hope I feel is that we are divine essences of God. And I'm not talking about religion, as we were speaking about earlier. I'm talking about God because religions and have been used to also traumatize and manipulate us. So that's just my 2 cents, is that it's traumatic. Our lives have been traumatic for a long time. And until we start to realize that and heal, we're really not going to have a society that's healthy and cooperative. And I yield. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for
Okay, I'm big
sharing.
on the healing.
What was that?
I said I liked it. I'm big on the healing. No more gas.
Yes. No more gas. Golly. Too much gatekeeping, Lorian says, also contributes. That's why I love this community. The Matrix.
Bags. No more gas. Gas. It could be gatekeeping abuse syndrome too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God. Somebody please put that in behind the gate. Keep it behind the gate. Subconsciously influences that are deep rooted in one's subconscious mind. Okay. Anybody else got anything, comments, questions, emotional outbursts about the video we just saw?
my bro in the chat says, gotta go back to the ancient long-standing methods of community building in harmony with nature. I can't knock that. I can't really
We
knock that.
what I appreciate that. And I think that although again in this experiment it's a
Yeah,
manufactured situation, it is going on right now.
that is true.
It's currently happening in several different localized places, but also it's here on Earth as a general
Yo,
psychosis. A psychosis.
I'm sorry. You see what Skinny put in the chat, yo?
I love that some people already watch this stuff in their psychology class. This is the type
Word.
of stuff that we would watch in our marketing class because, of course, marketing is a study of human and an exploitation of human behavior,
So it's
es-
trading.
especially if you are manufacturing environments. And in
Word.
a lot of ways, people are like these rats where they don't realize that their environment is manufactured or even can be manufactured. Then he says that was the class I watched. There you go, marketing. Boom. Yes, that's the type of stuff we watch. Gratitude for confirming, Skinny. A lot of people have not come from that background, and that's why it's such a beautiful thing that we can come together in this community from people who have come to this similar realizations coming from different backgrounds, because of course we can't all study everything at the same time. But imagine some of us are studying psychology, some of us are studying marketing, some of us think we're studying teaching, for example, or sales, and then we all realize we're studying the same stuff, because even in social working, you're dealing with human environment, right? Human behavior, which of course is based upon the human psychology. In realizing, for example, that even though it is a form of slavery, which is the monetary system, because it's owned by somebody, it is not like this, natural outgrowth entity like ether, okay? It is actually manufactured, created, and systematically creating dependency upon it so that we support it, so that we are willing to sell ourselves, sell our souls, sell our children, of course. Because if you're willing to sell yourself, you're willing to sell your children. Everybody understand?
Wowzers.
If you are willing to sell yourself, you're absolutely going to be willing to sell your children. And if you're willing to sell your children, you will sell anybody else. You will sell your mama, your daddy, your neighbors.
Yep.
Tap it
I
out,
used to,
y'all.
I used to drop off kids off the school bus on the corner, and I'd have to move to another corner because their moms would be prostituting on the street.
It's happening right now.
That's right.
And it's environmental creation. That's what we have to realize. We are, and although it can be superseded, if you want to say, by some, even in this experiment here. Remember, did anybody pick up on the beautiful ones that spent all their time eating and grooming? Probably the ones on social media doing selfies, right?
Only rats. They were on only
They
rats.
exactly.
Let me stop.
Yes. Yes, but they were also stupid. But they were the ones I think were probably most happy. They weren't involved in any of the violence. They weren't involved in any of the BS.
Wow.
I don't know if we're like taking it in that this is considered a utopian environment where they did not have to worry about food and water and just the limitation of space to expand. And we do manufacture that. Do you guys know right now there are people who cannot expand from the horrible stacked on top of each other living situation that they're currently in? Not because there's physically no place else, but because we have a system that's meant to keep people depressed and oppressed. It's a systematic thing. Y'all realize that, right?
Word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that outside don't exist. It's not that forests don't exist. And it's not that there's not enough land. Okay? But if it's a manufactured situation because our current, I don't care what you want to call it, whatever ism you want to call it, okay? It is required in order to support this bag chase, this bag that we're chasing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? We just act like, oh, anybody can get wealthy. Anybody can get rich. No, because if everybody's rich, who's the poor people supporting the rich? Who's going to be the poor people supporting the rich? Because we act like that's not a dynamic. Can everybody be rich, guys, according to this worldly uh measure?
Nope. Somebody got to be on the bottom.
How we feel about that?
You can be rich in some things,
No,
but
no,
the
no. I'm not talking
monetary
about that
system.
esoterical rich shit. I'm not. Don't even let's go there.
Okay.
Can everybody be a multimillionaire? Yes or no? Because that's
No.
the type of worldly
No,
stuff I'm talking about.
no, there's a graph on everything.
And that's not because people don't want to be left alone. That's not because people don't want to be happy, correct?
Correct.
We have a monetary system that literally calculates value on scarcity.
Wowzers.
How can we all be, how we even all want to be wealthy on a system that is built, the wealth is built on what is scarce? Something is valuable because of how few have it.
So the word wealthy is a euphemism for not the bottom of the totem.
Yes, not even being free from it, just not on the bottom of it.
Correct.
I have a big problem with that. Anybody else?
Should we have totem poles? Who's in the bottom?
Anybody else?
Did this fella do any studies on ants by chance?
I don't think
Or
his
did he
wisdom is
or
what's
did
in
he just
question.
strictly or was he just strictly involved in oppression, how oppressed entities will react?
I think that it is an environmental question of what would cause certain reactions, what certain environments would cause certain reactions.
And he just, pardon me, he just used rats and mice, correct? To your knowledge?
Yes. And but how is that relevant to the conversation?
Well, because certain people have certain ways they look at the existence as we are right now. And I don't always see, like, there was a similar conversation last
But
week.
hold on. This is not about
Yeah,
whether it was right now, 1,000 years ago, or 1,000 years from now. This is about the environment that creates or supports certain reactions and behaviors. The time is
I
irrelevant.
I think the environment is based on who the subject is. In this case, it's a rat or a mouse.
No,
But
that was the purpose of doing it with one and then seeing if it repeats again with another. It's to show that it probably doesn't matter, that you could do the same thing with cats or dogs or monkeys. So we're talking about the environment that creates the results, not necessarily the subject of this particular experiment.
I would say this about that. And I think I mentioned in the chat briefly that
A great example is coming to America when they did that and switched the environments of the same person.
Very good
And he
observation,
changed.
Lorian.
And they cut his rat tail.
Sure did. But go ahead with your example, Cam.
I would say this about that is that, and I mentioned in the chat briefly, that red ants had been studied and they did quite well in a confined environment. And one or two might have acted a fool and they got rid of them and they continued to thrive. That's it. It's just my mind is optimism. It's heavily enmeshed with speculativism, but I
I
try to
don't think that ants are nesting animals like people.
right. Well, in the mind, I understand what you
But
mean. Yeah, I understand what you mean, but that's it. That's all I got. That's all.
Ants are also not territorial like people.
They are.
Uh, territorial in meaning
Ants are not territorial. Ants do not nest. Ants do not take care of their children.
okay.
People nest. People take care of their children. People are territorial.
I wonder if we took two different ants of like one red, one black, and threw them on top of each other, what would happen? would they go into territorial mode?
No,
I
it'll
don't think
only take
ants are territorial, period.
it'll take 5 minutes for them to break all the furniture up in the house.
Hey yo,
Even as babies.
that is hilarious.
They're not territorial. They do not nest. They do not they're not. That's why they're not going to ever be chosen. If you want to extrapolate about mammals, you're not going to go to insects.
Get that.
People are territorial. Can we agree? We over here bombing people that they're not even adjacent to us.
Allegedly. Let me stop. Let me stop. Yo.
I mean, it
I
might
would say
even if it's allegedly right at this moment, it's not allegedly that's something that people do.
I would say
Okay.
you mentioned territorial. I saw that one mouse that was just chilling on that was called stupid
It
or
wasn't just one.
dumb
Remember, it was all the beautiful ones.
or considered beautiful.
All of
They
them. How
were
many ever else many they were.
they were in comfort just by themselves, just chilling by themselves. So they were still amongst the pack, but at the same time they were in the ghetto, but they weren't in
They
their
were in
mind.
the
They weren't.
ghetto.
You know,
Who said
they
they were
were
in the
there, but
ghetto?
they found
Who said they were
a
in the
heaven
ghetto?
within
They
that.
were all equal.
They
Remember,
did.
there wasn't no
They found
ghetto necessarily in this example.
That was the project.
yeah, they found their heaven inside of that hell.
They did, and they still went
So
extinct.
that could be considered to be territorial as well. But they found their own habitat within the hell, and
They
we
got
could say
overstimulated.
we might could say that that's what, as I was saying last week, these conscious communities are getting to. I don't think we're losing. I think we're gaining momentum to what you call alleviate ourselves, for another word, of this scourge that is in this matrix. You know, that Agent Smith talked about, that he was crying about. You know, while Morpheus was teaching and Neo was learning, Agent Smith was still acting a fool and he was depressed and all this other stuff that was going on. So my optimism is we may be in the ghetto, but we are creating our heaven. Yeah, I can
Remember,
see that
it
experiment
wasn't
and I
necessarily a
understand.
ghetto. Everybody had equal access to shelter, food, and water.
It's how we made use of how we work together. You mentioned that last week about our neighbors. So I understand what you're saying, but
Let's watch a little bit.
take time out to think about it.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you participating in this conversation. Let's watch it again slowly.
Years to complete, Dr. Calhoun used white mice to study population growth and its effects on individual behavior. In addition to his renowned research papers, he has recorded some of these observations on film. In this 16-cell mouse habitat, utopian conditions of nutrition, comfort, and housing were provided for a potential population of over 3,000 mice. Yet, in spite of ideal conditions, the mouse population...
Okay, y'all heard that. It's ideal conditions for nutrition and what? Housing and what else? Anybody still here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yes.
Go ahead, run it back one more again for him.
Research papers, he has recorded some of these observations on film. In this 16-cell mouse habitat, utopian conditions of nutrition, comfort, and housing.
Nutrition, comfort, and housing.
That's DSS.
Utopian conditions. Nutrition.
That's not utopian. That's not all I want in life.
That's food, clothing, and shelter, Malika.
I exactly. They're saying that it's equal for all in this society. Not saying that that's all you can have, okay? But are those not the basics that even some now are struggling and unaliving because they don't have it covered?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That
What
is
you
the
saying?
main issue that most of us have. We can housing is like astronomical. Y'all already know this. Yes?
Word.
And
True.
if you're struggling for housing, you probably ain't eating that good healthy food.
Government
But
cheese.
imagine if that's not an issue for anybody. That's what this is saying. You don't have an issue with food, housing, and clothing. Everybody is quote unquote equal in that way because it's covered. Whether you want to live in a high rise or you want to live in a hut in the hood and in the woods, it's covered. That's not what y'all worrying about.
So so that sounds like that's a, what do you call it? A transformable utopia, because it sounds like it went from communism to something to distinct to extinction, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that we can look at it as any particular ism because it's just the idea that you don't have to worry about it. It's not about how it's being covered. It's just not a worry.
Okay, and
Whether
so
because it's all free or because whatever is the situation, or everybody got a so-called what something equal income or whatever the fuck they call it. It
Got
doesn't
you.
matter. The fact
Equal
is that it's
opportunity.
covered. Yes.
Got you.
Because once that's covered, what other problems are we going to create for ourselves? That's the fuck what we talk about right here. Because I think that's a combination of that shit is happening.
Gotcha.
Okay? So it's a
Yeah.
utopian as far as nobody has to worry about nutrition, health, food, water. Okay? Whether it's because we planted up everywhere. How about that? Everywhere is planted. We got food all over the place. We don't have to worry about that. It don't matter how it happened. That's where we're at. That's where we have to start from. Because a lot of us think that that's the main issue. But this is coming from, okay, that's out of the way.
Were provided for a potential population of over 3,000 mice. Yet, in spite of ideal conditions, the mouse population met with catastrophe. Individuals were kept track of by color markings on their fur. Factors which normally control population growth, such as predation by owls or cats, were eliminated.
Now let's stop there. Now you don't have anybody starting no stuff.
Ain't no police, no predators. Let me
There's
stop.
no predators. There's no police. There are no judges. There are no attorneys. You guys follow? So there's no hunger. There's no starvation. Okay? There
I
are
see what
no
you're doing.
predators.
No money changers.
I see what you're doing. That's a bar. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No predators. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Money changers.
Transmissible disease was also reduced. In effect, the mouse universe simulated the present situation of a continually expanding population of humans.
No illnesses except a cold. Everybody will be happy with that. I just had a minor cold. Lasted about 3 days. Took some elderberry syrup. Remember, y'all hear this. Medicine covered. Everybody follow?
Yeah, no transmutable diseases.
No
Okay.
diseases.
Huh?
You had medicine, right? So nothing except the cold. Let's imagine nothing except the cold. No Fauci ouchies.
To see how Dr. Calhoun's mouse universe grew, we'll use the familiar population graph again. Within the first 100 days, the mice went through the period Dr. Calhoun called strive.
The less of them there is, even with the abundance of food, everybody doing good. Then the population starts to increase because everybody's happy. But remember, no predators, no illness. Imagine if we could live forever. We'd probably blow each other up right now. We'd be so happy. We'd be like, just let's get it out of the way right now. Just why wait? Because apparently, if we don't have no problems, we're gonna still start some stuff.
This was a period of adjustment. Territories were established and nests were made.
Sounds like countries. Sounds like countries. To
Yeah,
anybody? Territories established.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just my land. This is your land. From the whatever to the island.
Because that's how we like to be. We just like to do that stupid shit. We love it. We can't help ourselves.
The next period lasted about 250 days. The population of the mice doubled every 60 days. This was called the exploit period.
Remember, even if you want to just consider the North, South, and Central American population, how many years has it taken to so-called double from whatever it was before? Imagine if it's not just 250 days, but 250 years. Where are we at? America. Born in 1776, allegedly. Where are we at?
250 years later. 250 years later.
Listen up.
The use of resources became unequal. Although each living unit was identical in structure and opportunities.
Did y'all hear that?
One more again. Run it back. Rewind.
I was bringing some groceries. I was the water was doing this thing. Go ahead.
Let's go back a few seconds.
This was called the exploit period. The use of resources became unequal.
The use of the resources became... Remember, the shit is free.
Got rich rats and poor rats.
Even though access is equal.
So they began creating their own limitations.
Without any prompting.
Wowzers. What does that say?
I'm saying
about their nature.
About our motherfucking nature.
I just tried to say there, but okay. So let me stop.
But it is something about their nature for sure. Absolutely.
You're right. You're
I'm not
right,
disagreeing
though.
with you.
You're absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you either.
Dude. It just became, we all have the same access. It just became used unequally. We might want to reconsider what really the problem is.
Word.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
Because we do have a food distribution problem, no lie. No lie, we have an absolute food distribution issue. I'm very sensitive about that.
Word.
The only reason we don't do what we used to do is when we went up to our 20 acres and we had to go back home, we had to pass through downtown. So we used to just pile up our expedition. If anybody has an expedition or know someone who has an expedition, you know you can fit a ton of food. So we used to just pack all the stuff. As much as they could fit. Potatoes, onions, spinach, squash, not too much canned food, but a lot of fresh food, a lot of breads. Not the best, of course, because they're from the grocery store, but it's free. But we used to pass through downtown, and we just used to give like 95% of the food to people because our we didn't need much. Okay, so we gave most of it away. We're not in that same position anymore. So we would have to go in this direction to get the food and then pass where we live now to go downtown. So it's not feasible, but we are now also have an opportunity to grow a lot more food that we can share. Okay. And even if we do decide to go downtown, just one way, go downtown, come back, right? We can hit that now. That's the type of stuff that we are encouraged to do, and encourage others who feel that same calling in their spirit, in their soul to do. Because in my opinion, at least right now, that's the only thing that's going to help us to get out of this environment.
What you think? What you think? I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying I concur. I think that even sharing the information that you guys are sharing, as above, so below, feed the fam, those are the type of necessary things. And the more is, I guess, is it? You were talking about it earlier, but I was like in and out of it. But reach one, teach one. If everybody's helping, or if everybody contributes, or the idea that, or my idea would be, if you can help lift somebody up out of that position, that person can also now turn around and help
Apparently,
them.
we can't make it that easy. Apparently, we got to make their ass work. Because I
I'm
don't know
okay
if
with
y'all gonna take that away from if you watch this the third or fourth or fifth or sixth time. But these motherfuckers are just doing nothing. Everything is already met for them. So what are they doing? Beating each other up. Anybody y'all didn't pick up on that yet?
Yeah, they're
Yeah, that's
devolving.
with messing with each other, which is
They
terrible.
don't have to go find their food. Nobody is preying on them. So what do? They fight with each other. Y'all didn't notice that? You make shit too easy, they start biting each other.
Like an entitled child.
Absolutely.
What do you mean, no?
Here comes a temper tantrum.
Each living unit was identical in structure and opportunities.
Identical in structure, identical in... That's not even what we have going on right now. We don't even have it identical. We're saying let's pull each other up. Okay, let's say now we're all even. Look at this.
Wow,
And this is the main reason I just be wanting to be left alone, for real. It's the main reason. You take away predators. You give everybody equal access to food, water, shelter. You're still doing this. Could you imagine our creator, the infinite creator, looking down at this shit? I gave you guys everything. Is that a lie?
It's
Is
not.
everything not here already? Is
Everything.
every want or luxury here already? Yes or no?
It's more than we can actually even think about.
I'm telling you. Does anybody disagree? Because we can argue for free today.
Oh,
Right
not
now.
at all.
It's so crazy. Let's continue.
Food and water was consumed in some areas. As the population increased, most mice associated eating and drinking with the presence of others, and crowding developed in certain units. The third period, consisting of 300 days, found the population
Crowding
of mice
developed,
leveling off.
even though it's evenly
This was
distributed.
called the equilibrium period. Dr. Calhoun noticed that the newer generations of young were inhibited, since most space was already socially defined.
I think I know why crowding
Some
developed,
unusual behavior became noticeable.
if I may.
Violence
Because one thing that's not being said here is
males strived for acceptance.
it's you gotta reshare again, but I know you're gonna do so. But I can still hear it playing in the background.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is what I'm thinking too. We don't know what was the ratio amount of male to female as they began to procreate. And I'm just wondering if where there were females, is that where the pockets, began to happen. You know what I mean?
Like incest?
Not only like the availability.
Yes, availability of mates.
Correct.
They also mentioned that the rats started hanging out together because they associated the group. with food. And that reminds me so much of living in the city. Like we associate being
Or even
around all
going to
these people with
restaurants.
fun. Right. You
When
have
we go to
food
a
to
restaurant,
compare.
it's like a humongous living room. And I know some of us, we've been to places that's packed to the point where you might even have to wait. Oh, the wait is 20,
Word.
30 minutes. Y'all heard of that?
Yeah, you got to sit with that light up buzzer in your hand.
Ugh. Okay. That's a lot of us in society. Just saying.
Word.
I'm sure the female rats outnumber the males.
Maybe.
Well, yes, maybe, because even if you can't say you're sure because we don't know. And again, you guys can look into the more details of the experiment because it could be more females than male and still a rejected males happen. Because remember, it's the environment that is triggering certain behaviors, not just, the population itself.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a prison system.
Well, we don't know that it's just the environment, right?
We don't know for sure that it's just the environment, but that seems to be the only difference. So it could be that there is more females than males, for example, and males are still being rejected because of the environment, not the population ratio.
Indeed, I understand what you're saying. That makes sense.
But we can go and look at the details if you guys want to get more details. It's perfectly fine. I encourage it.
Would you say that this environment is devoid of love?
Population.
Again,
There's some love
I
going on.
think you guys want to infer things and ignore what the environment creates. When we're talking about environment, it's like though love and stuff is irrelevant. It's showing that if you create a situation where this is what the strife is, this is just what you're going to get. Since we have a world that, again, we idolize having a lot of money because we desensitize the fact that somebody having a lot of money requires a bunch of people not. And we don't congratulate when somebody becomes a millionaire. Why don't we go to the newly created poor people and congratulate them? Oh, look at you giving yourself so selflessly, so and so could become this millionaire. How come we don't do that?
Because that would shame society and that would be too truthful. It would never do it.
What do you?
My opinion.
I appreciate it. Anybody else? Why don't we go congratulate the people that are either newly poor or securely now poor when somebody becomes a millionaire? Because that's also required. Is it
When
not?
standards are set.
That's a fact. Slavery for hire.
But that's not acknowledged, generally speaking.
But why not? It's what's required for that whoever one man or woman to be a millionaire. We know this.
Well, it's.
But we want to clap for the millionaire. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. He's so
Why don't
brilliant,
we go?
so
Yeah,
smart,
yo.
works so hard. He's so talented.
And
God is
now
blessing you.
and now we say that again. That last part.
God is blessing you. You're a millionaire. You can go around and tell your story, write books about it.
Who literally believe that it's God that's out here making them millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
You all know there's people who actually believe that.
Go to some of these churches and you'll hear that conversation.
You don't even have to go into the church. There's people that
Abundance.
don't step foot in church, and they think that a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you back there making deals with the devil and eating babies. That's not what it means. It means God is blessing you.
Mm-hmm.
It means donation.
You're covered in the bloods of
But you know what,
Jesus.
Malika, check this out. When the so-called demic happened, there was this influx of new money that came to unemployment, even for self-employed people. all of a sudden you could get a few $1,000s a month out of nowhere. And so one concept is that there has to be poor and rich in order for everybody to be wealthy. But another
In order for
concept is
everybody to be wealthy, how are the poor people wealthy?
no, I said so one concept is that you have to have poor people in order for there to be rich people.
But that's not one concept. That is absolutely 100% certain
Okay. So
based
check
on
this.
the structure
So
of the
check
monetary system.
right. So check this out. So during the pandemic, all of a sudden there was this free money just flying around because the Federal Reserve can print money at will. So if if we had the idea to make everybody equal, all they have to do is print money and give it out like they did during
Or just turn it off and
or
give all access to everybody. And then you
exactly.
end up with this, though. You end up with this. I hope everybody realizes it. Do you not realize
So
that you end up with this?
so we
Are
need
you
to
guys not hearing that this is what's being described?
Yeah, because
exactly
everyone's not going to be
Yeah.
competent with the resources.
exactly. Or there's a glitch somewhere
Let's
in
hear about it.
humanity.
What's the glitch? Let's hear it.
The
But who's
glitch
gonna
is that
monitor the monitors of the monitor?
The
yeah, we got to talk to the big boss.
Who's that?
the Most
The
High.
one they
But
call
look,
God.
God don't
so
care nothing about what's going on here. Can't you tell?
I don't know. I'm not an
You mean you
expert.
don't know? You
I'm
observe.
not an
so
expert on God.
Observe.
We're at war.
so
I know
so
one thing. When I look around, I see a lot of insanity going on.
Right. That's how you know.
the reason the reason why I asked the question about love, Malika, was because there was an experiment that they conducted with children, and basically they gave them food, clothing, and shelter, made sure the baby was changed, but they didn't interact to love the baby or anything. And the babies got very sick, and then one even died, and then they ended up ending the experiment. So is love something we would say is necessary? So is that
I
a basic?
absolutely think love is necessary.
So then that's what. So in an environment, if the love is lacking, then would you then can it be qualified as a utopia because a need is then missing? If that makes sense.
That's what I
Right? But
was
I don't
saying.
know
I
if
agree
they
with that as well.
but that was a manufactured hate, if you will. That was a
Word.
like they didn't take them away from their babies here and they still abandoned them.
Word.
Facts.
Isn't
But that was a
necessary
great point,
love. It would
McGarvey. I
be
appreciate that very much.
it would
Damn,
be
yeah, that was
oxytocin
sick,
and
and they
dopamine
did
drop
still
with
abandon them.
feeling the kid.
Do you recognize though, McGarvey, that your questions to me, are still in some way, shape, or form based in either one, there being a programmed agreement to love, or two, each individual being has to be willing to do that without being dictated to do so.
I would say that the latter, that each individual would have to be able to do it without being told to do it.
Then there will never be any equality.
Sheesh.
Became
Never.
targets of repeated attack. These individuals would have badly chewed and scarred tails. Other young mice growing into adulthood exhibited an even different type of behavior. Dr. Calhoun called these individuals the beautiful ones.
Is that not the whole of like what do they call Gen Z or what? The ones stuck to the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is
The
that
phone.
Z? Why? What do
Gen,
they got? I don't the ones who
millennial
are
too.
just on social media. What is that? Because they
Gen
grew up with
Alpha, the new
Gen
one.
Z.
is
Gen
it
Z.
the new
Gen Z.
one?
The
The beautiful
influencer.
yeah, the influencer, like not the not millennials.
No, it's not millennial. It's
No,
What's
Gen
coming
Alpha, I
after
think.
them?
I think
you
it's
got
Gen
it right.
Alpha, yeah.
Oh,
This
oh,
is
never
the
mind.
beautiful ones. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah, so to speak.
For the
Yes,
most part.
absolutely. Yeah. And
For the
you know
most
what?
part.
You know what this makes me think of, Malika? And maybe you
They're
guys want
young
to,
people who put plastic on the stove
Jesus
because they can't
Christ.
tell
Gen
that
X's.
it's an electric pot, right? The electric pot that you just put it onto the base.
Jesus.
Somebody goes, "Oh, go put the stove on." Go put the kettle on. Instead of turning it on the base, they pick it up off the plastic base with a plastic bottom, put it on the stove.
You got to be
Jesus.
kidding. I'm with you, Hassan.
No,
Wow.
I'm just saying though. I'm also saying that because I have absolutely kind of seen that in certain
They
cases
don't
on
know how to
online and
do
everything.
anything. They don't have any concept of common sense.
Correct.
If you think your age group, whatever that is, above the age of 20, don't have no common sense, what y'all think about the kids below 20?
Yeah, I
They're
hear you.
good. It
20,
sounds like
20,
they're good.
20 and below?
We're back in a time, no matter what 2000 it may be, but we're back in a time where we have to keep an eye on the little ones until we think they're mature enough to
So
be
they're
on their
30.
own.
So
Possibly.
we not
Yeah.
raising, they're not grown up until they 30.
About 30 or 40. Well, maybe 30, but
55.
I'm just saying.
55.
It just really depends because it's going to depend on what we do because we're the ones that are having this conversation, talking about what needs to happen. So now that's going to depend on our vigilance in being able to do so. And secondly, this makes me think to, give you guys a homework assignment. If you can stream, and I think it was Apple TV, the show called Pluribus, Pluribus, and you'll see how they were able to obtain this oneness. You'll see it. And I'll just give you a little spoiler alert. Everybody that was a part of the oneness mindset was not conscious of it with their previous to the oneness consciousness happening. So you want to watch Pluribus. Go ahead, I yield.
I wanted to ask you a question. So that statement that you made, as far as like the individual deciding to love on their own without having to be forced or to be controlled to do so, I'm like, what is that? Where does that come from? Like, where
I think
can
that's nature, and in that experiment that you're talking about, that was going against nature intentionally to see what would happen, to understand why it is nature. It's not just a one-way thing where the parent wants to be close to the child, but obviously the child needs that energetic closeness. Okay?
Neuroplasticity.
Or you will get sick.
Yeah, the dopamine and oxytocin and all that will help to release and the hormones by feeling and touch. So you're right on.
Word.
So that's what that proved. But even without an intentional deprivation of the child's nurturing and the parents' need to nurture, it still occurred in this experiment here, which is why I think it is important to
because we don't know.
recognize.
Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying we don't know which one of those mice or rats were the restarted ones either. just being honest.
What do you mean restarted ones?
Well, she's on
TikTok.
So just remove the S and restart it.
All right, let's go.
So I yield.
The word we used to use back in the day.
Other young mice growing into adulthood exhibited an even different type of behavior. Dr. Calhoun called these individuals the beautiful ones. Their time was devoted solely to grooming, eating, and sleeping. They never involved themselves with others, engaged in sex, nor would they fight. All appeared as a beautiful exhibit of the species, with keen, alert eyes and a healthy, well-kept body. These mice, however, could not cope with unusual stimuli. Though they looked inquisitive, they were, in fact, very stupid. Dr. Calhoun called the last period the die phase, leading the population into extinction. Although the mouse utopia could house 3,000, the population began to decline at 2,200. In the shift from the equilibrium to the die phase, each animal became less aware of associates, despite all animals being pushed closer together. Dr. Calhoun concluded that the mice could not effectively deal with the repeated contact of so many individuals. The evidence of violence increased to the point where most individuals had had their tails bitten to some degree.
Did it go again?
It just now went.
Yeah,
But that
just
just
stop.
goes to show that they developed selfishness or wanted to be left alone
They
from
were
the constant
so
contact.
overstimulated by being around like so many of them. It's like,
Correct.
ugh.
Right. That definitely speaks to the point of environment. They talk about 100 years ago, most people only came in contact with 100 people in their entire life. So we just don't even have the capacity to like care about that many people around us.
Yes. I think that's affecting us today. We take each other for granted because there's so many of us. And when we
Yeah.
hear things like we're overpopulated and you look outside and you're like, ain't nobody even here. But in certain environments, it seems like too many of us are here. And it inspires like self-hate for like your own species in general.
You know, um, also, if I could add my 2 cents, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in Josephus, it talks about how when they were building the Tower of Babel, the Creator told them to disperse, and they chose not to, but the instruction was to not be all up in one area at one time. So I think that's very interesting that you're bringing this up, and then how it even says that in that reference.
Mm-hmm. Gratitude for sharing the As Above, So Below series. I want you guys to know that it is also up on YouTube. So, Lawful Living 007 is our YouTube channel. You can catch not only the recordings from Tuesdays, but also the As Above, So Below series in its entirety is there. Also, just we're in overtime right now, and I do have a consultation in about 45 minutes. But
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know that class this Saturday is postponed. It was for the 7th. So I just want everybody to know it is not any longer going to be on the 7th. It's going to be on the 14th. Hopefully, we figure out our technical issue by tonight. Sunny is revising the flyer, which is why it wasn't like put out in mass for you guys to register. But I know everybody's going to be asking about it. It's our rescission class, and this rescission class is primarily for people who are currently or have taken the mortgage free or Slay the Servicer 2.0. Okay, the mortgage free 2.0 class is a prerequisite. It's a mandatory prerequisite. If you haven't, you need to get it. You need to watch it. Okay, get it,
Word.
watch it, be prepared for class. So yes, we're sharing the Newbie Tuesday guide in the chat here. It would be great if at least one of my moderators could share the link to the Newbie Tuesday study guide here on TikTok and our current Slay the Servicer 2.0 class, because that is going to be a prerequisite for our rescission class. We'll be talking about rescinding the entirety of the mortgage based on what we went over in the class, which is unconscionability. It is an action in equity. Woo! Aren't we all excited?
Ooh,
Ooh.
exclusive.
I was gonna
Exclusive.
say, you said it for me. Thank you, brother.
Yes, it's exclusively an action in equity.
You know, most of those people that be saying that stuff about exclusive equity do not know that. And I'm glad there was one brother on TikTok that he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm only about exclusive equity, man." And I was like, "Did you know that, foreclosure is an action in equity?" And I'm so glad that he was like, he looked it up as we were live and he was like, "I
Yep,
did not know that."
I remember that. It's the first sentence in Florida. Is it not, Linnea? First sentence, isn't it section like
It is.
702 Florida
I
statute?
I can't remember the
Hey,
number,
hey,
but
hey,
equity is
Malika.
absolutely in
Word.
there.
I
The
just ran back upstairs when I heard your announcement. I got a question for you. I got a ratified sale. It was final March 13th, 2023. Of course, I know these ratification 3-year periods are for attorneys. However, I'm trying to get my situation straight before the 13th, and now I just hear that this webinar is pushed back to the 14th.
Your situation is
When,
straight.
yeah, I
What does
gotta
that what
ratify.
does that have to do with
I gotta meet a deadline of the 3-year period from getting a final ratified sale in a foreclosure. So
but
I
subject matter
do have
jurisdiction can be challenged at any time.
anytime.
So your deadline is
Mute doesn't matter.
arbitrary, and it might even be capricious.
Okay.
Physical, you might say.
What's that, McGarvey?
It said whimsical even.
Did everybody hear what he said?
I didn't, but I want to get one more question in. Can I just put something basic in just to get under it, or
I don't understand what you're saying. Something basic.
It sounds like he
like
needs
a
to book
rule
a session.
like a rule 2? Well, I got a
I don't know
prepaid,
what
but
a rule 2 is.
I
If you want to do a quiet
prepaid
title, you can do a quiet title at any time. A quiet title is also an action in the
anytime.
proceeding. You
Anytime.
can also
Okay.
directly challenge the jurisdiction, the subject matter jurisdiction in any case by directly filing something to challenge that subject matter into that case.
Yeah.
You have options.
No, I hear various
And it doesn't have
teachers
anything
say,
to do with rescission, which is the
I
class
got you.
that we have coming up.
Yeah, I got you.
For your situation, it does not have anything to do with rescission.
Yeah, I keep hearing teachers say, and it's well respected, that consultation, but I've already put a prepaid in like last year, so I don't really have a lot of money left. So
Well, why are you
if
talking
anybody,
about that when I'm giving you exactly
based
things
on,
to do?
yeah, no, I said based on what Hassan just said, he might want to hear me say that. I don't know, because he in Maryland, and I would have reached out to him, but again, I'm short like that right
It's
now.
okay.
Okay.
I've already given you direct information that you can go and research. You can challenge a judgment in your original case by challenging subject matter jurisdiction, and you can just look up the rules on how to challenge subject matter jurisdiction in that case. Whatever you need to file, either a motion for reconsideration or a motion to reopen and rehear, or or something to that effect where you're challenging either a summary judgment or a default judgment in that lower court directly,
To
and
add to that
open it
wisdom,
back open it back up that way.
to be clear, Cam, the Maryland online manual, right, will direct you to where certain even it has a law library type situation going on also, but simple searches for rescission of signature. Pardon me, rescission of mortgage in Maryland. Just look that up. Simple searches on what Malika is saying. Just make sure it is Maryland specific so that you can get the acceptable court safe language for Maryland so that you can be able to meet your goal.
I'm gonna email you real quick, and it won't take but a minute.
No, no,
I
no,
just
no,
mean,
no, 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 no. Hear me out. Hear me out, bro. We just gave you the sauce.
yeah, I'm trying to write it down, but my
But
computer's freezing.
also, you'll be able to
Okay, I
re-listen
got
to
you.
this without
I got
having
you.
to write it down.
You can email
Just
me
as
then.
soon as it's done. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, indeed.
Gratitude, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed
Safe transcript.
that what we reviewed today. I hope you guys go and watch that same video. Did somebody put a link to it?
Yeah, I thought you did at
Yes,
first.
someone did put a link to it.
Okay.
It's much further in the chat.
Yeah, I put it in there.
Gratitude. Let's see if we could do it one more time. So if you guys want to watch it again and take notes, or if you guys want to pull up the experiment itself. Oh, I think my whole browser crashed. Excuse me. I think my whole browser crashed, so I can't be who shares the link. But if somebody can.
Let me see if I can grab the link one more time. And I will also say that tonight on the Off Duty Alibi YouTube channel. We're talking about your rights in the IRS, and it was inspired by what had taken place on a call with one of our friends-in-law from Rama's Saturday class. And I trust that it is very helpful for everyone. Let me see if I can find this link real quick, because I know I sent it to myself and you guys posted it. Oh, I got it right here. Copy.
Malika, while you're still here, you're not opposed to if I should file the Slater Servicer document that I just received. Would that be
I don't know if you have a quiet title or something that like that going, most of those things will be relevant to you. But most of those things are not relevant to you if you're attempting to use it to or without heavy modification if you're trying to use it to do something in the original case against you.
Yeah. And that webinar on the 14th would elaborate on that?
Elaborate on what? We're talking about rescission.
I know I'll be showing an example for Maryland that I did for one of our friends-in-law who is actually present right now.
So someone that got a ratified sale,
I don't know why you keep talking about that ratified sale, but it's pre foreclosure or post foreclosure. That's how we're going to talk about it. Rescission is not typically a post foreclosure remedy. Rescission is not typically a post foreclosure remedy. Not typically. Might somebody wish to try it? Perhaps. But 3 years after the fact, probably not. Maybe 3 days after, maybe 3 weeks after, but probably not 3 years after. That's why it's typically not a post foreclosure remedy. So don't worry about unless you're taking this class to help somebody else, or you have some other type of property that's not yet foreclosed on, then it might be relevant to you. But we're talking about rescission.
So I have to go into offense and sue them for damages because it don't look like I might get my land back.
I'm not saying that. You may be able to undo the foreclosure if you attack the original case itself, either directly by filing something into the case or what's called collaterally by doing some other type of action.
Yeah, I've only done a relief of judgment that what got denied.
Well, that was your opportunity then to make another what did you say you did? A what?
A relief from judgment.
Relief from judgment instead of a reconsideration or some sort.
Correct.
I think you can get that in under 24 months.
Well, in the language, it was a reconsideration. I mean, but it was headed relief from judgment.
Okay. So you might have to revisit what options arise based on that action being done. And if you still have an opportunity to challenge subject matter jurisdiction because of that reopening. So look into that. But again, our classes are coming up about rescission, and that to me it doesn't seem related, but of course everybody's welcome to come and take the class and see what it is that they can get from it. All right.
I like to add to it. I like to add to stuff. There's a lot of stuff to put in.
Or different ways to re-angle it. Anyway, guys, so that's definitely not a Newbie Tuesday question for sure, but we're answering it because it is in overtime right now. So I hope that was helpful to you as well. So until next time, we will be back together again really soon. Mwah. Yes. Hey, Empress. Gratitude to the winning squad. Y'all.